Ha! We're live. It's Saturday over here in old Blighty and the rest of the world. So it must mean it's time for another The War Room. I hope you're all doing well. Today, the 1st of June, as I've let everybody know tirelessly, is my birthday. So, and thank you everyone for your lovely birthday wishes. But I'm joined, as usual, by these two reprobates here. So, IDJester and Nate. How you doing, guys?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having us on your show. Yes, I'm not going to let it go. And you do look really good for 87. So
it's the virgin. I have to the virgin's blood. I think that's what does it.
I was going to ask. I was going to ask him. You know, since today's your birthday, is whether or not, you know, I mean, do you remember when the pyramids were built? You know, do you remember when Rome fell? You know, you've been around quite a while.
Look, I do remember. I don't remember. See people saying, "Oh, how did you get on with the groat when it was the currency?" You know, and that sort of thing. But I do actually remember black and white television. Before we had it over here, I think you guys had it before us. But you know, so crikey, loads of comments already. Yes, I did see that. So, Nate, how are you? Before I go into the chat.
Oh,
don't. You're one of those that read the end of a book, aren't you? Leave the chat alone and let me find out. You're laughing at something I haven't seen.
I am. It's very good.
Yeah, probably at my expense. Anyway, Nate, how you doing?
I'm doing well. And in fact, you'll actually like. So for my PhD class that I'm in at the moment, we had to select. We're on the end of week 3, so we'll be starting week 4 here on Monday. We had to select a research topic for the next several weeks, and part of this course is going around and looking at what's called the historiography, or the arguments that other people are making concerning this topic. And I chose for mine. This is an American history one, a early American history from colonial days to 1865. I chose to look at the relationship between Britain and the colonies and then the United States in terms of diplomatically, how both of them interacted with one another, particularly as, you know, the British sun starts to set in the 20th century, and the American sun begins to come up.
Yeah.
And how, you know, I refer to it as, you know, in the 19th century, there was the Brits and the Russians fighting over Central Asia called the Great Game. And so I called this the other great game of competition between the U.S. and Britain. So I thought you might find that interesting.
Yeah. Anything to knock the Brits, I know, but there we go.
Oh, but we love Britain.
I assume, like most of us over here, we are. What's the word? You over there. There's a lot of Anglophiles, I would have thought, that love Britain and its history. But there are a lot of people over here. Is that what do we say to you? Ameriphiles? I don't know. What's the word?
Oh, really?
I don't know what the word is. Oh, crikey, yeah.
Well, I know there's a lot of.
I don't know why you still have that resentment, Ruff. I mean,
well,
people I talk to, we always talk positive about the British people.
No, I said you do. There's a lot of guys over there that are Anglophiles, not Anglophobes.
There is a lot of Anglophobes in Britain.
Oh, yes, there's a lot of people that don't like Britain who live in Britain.
I just watched a video yesterday. It was a lady. It was from like the History Channel or something, where a British lady, was going around asking people who the first Queen of England was, and half the British people had no idea.
I know. It's that we get those videos over here where a guy goes around asking Americans, "What's the square root of 9 and things like that, and who was the first president, and they just look at each other, and these are university students.
Yeah.
So you get them everywhere. You get them. You ask enough people. That's how Darren Brown works. You ask enough people, you're going to get the right person or the right answer. So yeah, but no, we love you. We love you, and you love us.
Well, and because it's your birthday, Ruff, we will tell you this, that we love you, and there's nothing you can do about it.
I also forgot to say
happy birthday.
Yes, thank you, darling. Thank you. I forgot to say, because I'm so excited. Yes, this is coming to you in glorious 720p. So I forgot about that. So yes, thank you, Koi. That was a good. Yeah, I've got to watch that.
Unheard of.
Unheard of. Yeah.
Talking about his rant, all right.
It was. It's been 5 years coming. So.
Oh right.
I had a lot of time to think about what the hell is going wrong with this, and then it's not just about the company. It's about the Kickstarter process. It's about people and the way companies are supporting people, and I mean, there's just a lot of problems with the way the system is done, and nobody sees it but me. I guess I don't know.
Well, I wonder. I mean, I did see you had a little mini rant, or was it today? I think on.
I'll tell you what, this
Facebook
rant
group.
I missed it, but it was still going on 5 minutes before I sent the link to him.
I said, I got to go. I'm going to be on the War Room in 10 minutes. I got to go, guys. Anyways, I didn't want to take away from Ruff's special day, but I think I will let everyone know.
Show me your T-shirt. Show me your T-shirt.
I'm going to show you that today is my 2-year anniversary for my cancer surgery. So those of you who haven't been around for 2 years, I had my what is it called? I can't even remember what the hell it's called.
I think
lymph nodes and adenoids and everything taken out because I had a bunch of cancer in my throat. And that was June 1st, 2022 was my surgery date. I was in surgery for over 10 hours. So
wow.
It was a major underdoing. But hopefully all's going well now. So
well, congratulations.
Yes, it was good news, isn't it? And the T-shirt's cool as well.
It was nice for the wife to buy me a nice little shirt, and to celebrate that, I'm going to take off my background so you can see.
I thought you said you're going to take it off. I thought, don't, you demonetize it. No, stop it.
She also got me
first scraps. Oh,
nice new chair. Thank you, Marty.
Wasn't that nice? That was really nice. You see my old busted down one back there still.
Yeah, this one's starting to go a bit wobbly. So, thank you, Charles. Thank you, everyone, for my, my birthday wishes.
So I think I don't know if we said this, but I think what we're going to do today is we're going to open it up to. We don't have a subject.
No, I thought
open up for open discussion time.
A live Q&A. If you want to ask us questions about what we do, in the wargaming world and what our thoughts are, we can do that. If somebody comes up with a great subject, we can sidekick onto that, or we can talk about food.
I do have a question for you guys. Nate
I'm drinking this tonight as it's my birthday.
Very nice.
Bouliette bourbon or bourbon. So anything can happen.
Oh boy, here we go. So I got a question for Nate and Ruff. In the last 6 months that you've known me, how many weeks have I played a war game on my channel?
I know where this is going.
I know too. I know too. Very little.
Like twice.
Yeah.
Like this last week was like the biggest week I've had in wargaming in years.
I thought I was in an alternate reality.
Teaching people how to play Combat Commander. I had a live stream with Phoenix Knight playing Combat Commander. I had a live stream with Tony playing Normandy 44. I had a live stream doing a solo Normandy 44. I did all that stuff this week, and I went through the GMT P500 list.
Hold on, Dangerous Dave, look at that. Say, a youngster, thank you, sir. Off you go. Sorry. He was just being nice.
And of course, I got left
please.
behind today, so I'm not very happy with Dan. I think we should all post messages about him and call him a Canadian. We'll call him the Canadian Moose or something. I don't know. Come up with something creative because I'm not very happy with
No, you're not
Danny. I
hired.
already emailed him and told him I spent all this time and effort this week and I got no credit for it. Zero.
Yeah. Yeah. But don't let that put you off trying out the like button. That would be very, very welcome. Yeah.
I always see 9 people. 9 likes. Let's see. Let me update. Oh, 22. Our people are doing good now.
Yes,
Very
thank
nice.
you very much. Please keep it
people
coming.
watch.
Well, there's lots of people in, so I couldn't because we're all talking, and that's good. Yes.
Well, you were like way behind on the chat there, Ruff.
I know. There's so many. I'm trying. I remember when we got our first color TV as well. Yeah, they're just commenting now on the black and white.
Just
I
wait until
remember
you
as a
get,
little kid, you have these little squirt guns, right? These little squirt guns. And we just got our brand new color TV. I was like, I don't know, 6, 7 years old, very young kid. And me and my brother were playing with a squirt gun, right? And we were squirting one another in the house. And I ran behind the TV because it was on like a little roller cart.
Mhm.
And I'm sitting there waiting for him to come in the room. And I was like, oh, look, there's all these flashing lights inside. So I took my squirt gun and I went,
Oh,
and of course it blew blew everything. Oh,
and of course, because they
I
just
was
come out.
young. I didn't know. What do I know?
That must have
I'm
cost
like,
your dad thousands of dollars.
I said, hey, Mom, there's something wrong with the TV. Oh, my gosh, we just got this thing. There better not be anything wrong with this. Yes.
Oh man.
Did anybody else ever do that with their little squirt gun?
No. I had a rubber band gun. My brother and I would play rubber band wars with one another. That was fun. And of course, then we would try to gang up on our mom, and my mom would steal the gun from one of us and shoot back.
That's the sort of mum. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like that. Yeah. She'll give as good as she gets.
Nice.
Michael?
I liked let's see. Have you gotten to the comment yet? You have not.
I'm just getting, I'm trying to do, to say hello to everybody.
Oh, no, you missed it.
That is a couch back there. You can't see the couch because it's covered in games. But yeah, there's a couch back there somewhere.
So
to do with mammoths.
I don't know. Let me bring this back to Wargaming here real quick. I don't know about you, Jester, but I have some gifts for Ruff today, as I had gifts for you on your birthday.
Yes.
So I'm curious of when it's going to be up to Ruff on when he wants his gifts.
What?
It may take him an eternity to get through the chat.
I know there's so many. I could do it and then nobody will read them. I go, what did he say? What did he say? But as you know, our chat is great because they are,
of course,
chatty. They're chatty.
They're chatty little bastards, aren't they?
Yeah. We'll get back to that. First war game I ever played, I think that was Risk, if you call it that. Yeah, Risk.
Oh, no.
I loved it.
That's not a
I think what we should do, we should auction off Ruff's copy of was it Fields of Fire with the stop signs counters. What do I really think about Kickstarter? Oh, Mike, he's trying to get me riled up.
Yeah,
again,
I know. Stop it, Mike.
Oh, brother. I said my piece and I'm done with it. I'm done. I'm not doing anything.
Well, I'm glad at least that you emailed him about your videos. So maybe next week he'll include it.
And he won't be playing any war games.
I probably won't play any this week. I'll be on
the blue moon, as we say over here.
Did you see me and Tony got to play together, Ruff?
I haven't watched it yet. Because it was about midnight, wasn't it? Or 1 o'clock in the morning over here. Was it 8 or 9?
It was 7 o'clock our time. So, yeah, would have been midnight your time.
Yeah.
We had a good time.
You could have watched it.
I've been recording Skies Above Britain. So I'm hoping to bring
when are we going to see those?
Well, my legs are sealed because we've got an international pilot roster of all the famous people in the chat and subscribers to ourselves and other designers and the like. I'm keeping stum on what happened for the first patrol. So
Ooh.
nothing might not have happened.
What do you think of the game so far?
I think it's great. I'm the only thing. There's one thing I have got a problem with is one of the vector counters that isn't really explained. Unless it's me, it's probably me. But I'm just going to play it like it is. You read them from top to bottom. You turn them over as you move, as the raid comes into England. So and things happen. So
This is Skies Above Britain.
yeah, have you got that one? Haven't you?
Yeah, I think.
It's very good.
Yeah, I think
It's good. I'm enjoying it. I to say for all my videos, you're not watching me to get a full rundown, a masterclass on the rules or tactics. You're just watching me play it. And
is that your first Skies game that you've played?
it's the first Jerry White Skies series I've played. I know it's with Gina as well. But yeah, I've got. It's supposed to be the most.
Why do you want to leave the lady out? What's wrong with you? What are you prejudiced or something?
What's that? What? What do you?
Why do you want to leave the lady out? Why don't you?
I didn't. I said Gina. The others weren't.
I'm just kidding. I'm
just
trying to get you riled up. That's all.
Oh, look, Mike said he's willing to help you with.
Yeah, it's just that one counter. It's the one that's got the flak on it, and then the raid, and you have to wait to do the raid until the interception phase. I'm going, what are they talking about? Right. Apart from that, though,
I'm curious. Will these Skies Above Britain videos come out around the same time as your Stalingrad Z videos are supposed to come out?
Be quiet about that. That's over there. That's pending.
It's pending.
Pending.
Oh.
I'm not obliged to say why it's still pending. Let's just say that grappling my grape nuts, it didn't. So
really,
yeah.
I'm surprised because I looked at that game when Noble Knight had their spring sale going on, and it looked pretty good. And I thought it's a lot of money to get involved with, and I didn't take the plunge. But I said, Ruff's got it. I should probably get it, but I didn't.
Yeah, and
glad I didn't now, because if it didn't grab your nuts, then I don't want to grab in my nuts either.
No, grape nuts, not my nuts, grape nuts.
Oh, look, Patrick's tactics and
I know, just going to do that.
Happy birthday, he says. There you go.
Yeah, pate. Yeah, thanks, matey.
Yeah, and all the Combat Commander video I did this week, and the tutorial, and I played through with Phoenix Knight. Phoenix Knight did not.
No, I didn't.
It did not seem like he was enjoying Combat Commander as much as I thought he was going to. I think he was just trying to be
more complex.
Huh?
Is it because it's a more complex, crunchy game?
I had thought that he had played Hex Encounter games before, but I guess he had told me he'd never played any Hex Encounter games.
Yeah, that doesn't necessarily mean anything.
You've got a lot to learn if you haven't played any Hex Encounter games.
I'm curious, like why? I obviously we all know that you like Combat Commander, but why? Why do you like Combat Commander? What is it about that game?
It's a 4-letter word. Begins with C, and it's full of them.
Krauts?
Cards.
Oh. I do like the cards.
You went all Boston on me then.
Well, here's the other. Yeah, I like the cards.
I like the cards. Yeah.
It also is one of these games that because it's all your dice rolls are on cards. You're just flipping up a card and you're getting a dice roll on it. Some of the dice rolls have got sniper events. Some of them has got random events. Some of them got reinforcements. Some of them got crazy nonsense. So the reason I enjoy Combat Commander, to answer your question, is because it's card. You got cards, and you're playing a card, and you can only play the card fire. If I want to fire, I got to play a fire card.
Okay.
If I want to move, I got to play a move card. So you can only do what the cards dictate. You can't play God. So if you don't have any fire cards, your opponent can walk right up to you and go,
and you can put that off. You can put that off to the fog of war that you admit you.
Right. You didn't get the orders. You're reloading. You ran out of ammunition.
Sure.
It doesn't let you play God. Is what I've never liked the fact that how many times have you looked, especially you, and you're playing your grand strategy, right? You know, the left flank, you know exactly what's going on the left flank, and the right flank would have no idea what happened over there. But yet you're sending units over to help them because they're not doing very good.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I like chit pull a lot, because then you're not always in control of everything. You only can do whatever the chit tells you. So I guess in a sense, that's
Right.
like cards.
Answer the question then. Nate, first game.
Oh, first game?
They're starting to come in.
Let's see. Well, first war game was The Dark Sands from Ted Racer.
Right. GMT game. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming yours, Jester, was maybe Advanced Squad Leader, or was it before you played something?
No, I think it was Risk. I'm like you, Ruff. You know, growing up, somebody probably had Risk on the table. It's like, oh, what's that? Let's play that. You know, type thing. It was either Risk or Axis and Allies, one or the other.
Never played that. Never played that.
You never played that?
Axis
No,
and
isn't it
Allies?
weird? No, never played it.
Oh, so much fun.
I'm not sure if it wasn't that easily available over here, or we didn't. Yeah, Risk though. I loved it. Let's have a look
Risk.
here.
Yeah, Risk was another one.
The
Allies.
So yeah, I hate Risk. I hate everything about Risk.
Well, that's good, because if everybody loved it, it would be boring. But yes, that's good.
It's bad game
guess so.
design. It doesn't really teach people the information they
No,
need
it's
to
cool.
do.
No, you just move stuff in, play cards, and go, boom, thank you very much. I've taken that over. Yeah, that was fine for, you know.
It was okay, except for like the little out to Australia only had 4 zones. So once, if you had 2 or 3 of those zones, you took it over. That was extra. That was extra dudes every round.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's right,
I will say my favorite thing with Risk was there was an episode of Seinfeld where Kramer and Newman are playing Risk.
Yes,
episode, and they're even playing it on the subway. And Kramer's got Newman surrounded in Ukraine. And Kramer's going, I've got you surrounded. Ukraine is teetering on the brink of annihilation. And some Ukrainian dude in the subway looks at it and goes, you know, yeah, I'm from Ukraine. And he goes, hey, we're playing a game, pal. He goes, oh, Ukraine is a game to you. And he smashes the board.
Yes.
That must have been one of the few funny bits in Seinfeld, I imagine.
Oh yeah, that was the only funny thing. There was nothing else funny about the show whatsoever.
No, I've tried to watch it, and it just doesn't grapple me great nuts at all, I'm afraid.
Well, there's a lot of things not grabbing your nuts today.
Great nuts.
This is really weird.
Not my actual nuts. Anyway,
this was a family-friendly show.
It's not anymore. It's certainly not family friendly.
Family friendly. Where you been?
I haven't, but I hear everybody is telling me that it's very, very hard to win, which is good, I suppose, for a solo game. So pure solitaire game. Looking forward to playing it, but I'm doing Skies Above Britain at the moment.
Well, all right, so I would like to ask Ruff this question because I've been dying to know. As I mentioned earlier, I was watching a show, and it was going around asking all the Brits who was the very first Queen of England. Then they had a sit-down discussion with a expert on who was officially the first Queen of England. And of course, there's still some debate on who it was. What is your answer, Ruff?
Well, there's a lot of weirdness back then and all that, because you've got the one that Elizabeth I knocked on the head before she could do it. I can't remember her name now. Mary, yeah. But there's probably somebody in the dim, distant past, because if you try and say who is the first official king of England, that's back. You know, I think it was Ethelred's dad or something like that.
Yeah.
Yes,
you could, if I guess, depending on your definition of England. I mean,
of course, yeah,
after you could go back into the 9th century with a woman by the name of Ethelfled.
Because you had Boudica
who had control.
Yeah.
Well, they talked about Theus, and they said, well, the one problem with Boudica and the old ones is that because the ceremony in Westminster Abbey to be crowned king or queen has to happen, that's the only time you're ever officially a king or queen of England?
Okay, if they're going to define it by that way, then it's going to be Mary the First.
Yeah, there was the debate
the
between
point.
Mary and another lady who who's the guy that had the foot that got infected? What was his? And then he ended up dying. What was him?
The foot.
The foot, the really fat guy that got.
Henry VIII.
Henry VIII.
Was it Henry VIII? Okay, I don't
Oh, I
remember
am
who,
Henry
so I
VIII.
didn't want to
Oh,
say. I keep thinking Charles and this and whatever. Anyways,
Well,
he
they think
died,
he will win.
right? And he names his 12 or 13-year-old son as
Right, Edward.
his heir,
Edward.
right?
Right,
He's only around for 2 years,
Yeah.
right.
right? And then he dies and leaves it to the 9-day queen. What was her name? Because he's a Protestant, and Edward
Mary
the king,
Jane Grey.
the king that dies and gives it to his son. His son is a Protestant, so he wants to obviously give it to a Protestant. When the next in succession was this other lady who's a Catholic. Oh, he wasn't going to give it to her.
Oh God, no.
So then there was a big war, or it wasn't a war. It was she raises an army, and then she shows up in
Jane Seymour.
Yeah, I always said no. She's a great actress.
I don't remember names. I'm never very good with names. I'm just remember what I. And so she gets a force together, and she goes to London, and the queen that's there, the little kid that dies and gives it to her, she says, oh, okay, I guess I give up. And then so anyways, I just thought it was an interesting discussion.
Yeah,
British history is very interesting to me.
The technicality.
We've got lots of it. You see, the problem is we've got lots of it. That's why 2,000 years of it. So we got quite a lot of it. Trying to remember it all is quite hard.
Well, and the unique thing about Britain, just England and specifically, is that unlike other medieval countries where if the monarch dies, the next one doesn't receive the royal power until the crown has been placed on their head. Whereas in England, it's as soon as the previous monarch dies,
it's why,
God say,
no, the queen is dead, long live the queen, or the queen is dead, long live the king. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So he's immediately the monarch. He has the royal power, and even before, like for instance, when King Charles III, he had the acclamation by the city of London. And then he finally had his coronation later on. He was still the king. As soon as Queen Elizabeth died, he was the king.
That's so no usurper can sneak in,
right.
And because there were a lot of them back in the past who would.
Jeez, it's the guy who wrote A Game of Thrones. Was he British?
George R.R. Martin.
Yes.
No, he's American, isn't he?
I believe he's American.
But as he based that off,
kind of taken that whole political backstab.
But no, that's the Game of Thrones was based on Dune.
Based on Dune. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah. But Dune was probably based on the history of the British, though.
Probably. Yeah. No, but because all the political backs. If you look at Dune and look at Game of Thrones, very interesting. There's lots of similarities.
Yeah. But even like concerning the succession, I mean, that was a difficulty for the United States as well, because it used to be the inauguration was in March. The traditional inauguration of the president was in March, but the election was in November. And there were times where, you have this end of office coming in January, and then you have the inauguration in March where something could happen and there's not an executive. And so there was a change to move it to the same day. And, but yeah, we had that problem too.
Questions are coming in.
Ruff, it's your birthday. You go first.
Difficult one. I suppose because I play a lot of games solo, if the game isn't solo as such, chip pull would be one of my favorite mechanics. because that randomizes it and makes games more solo friendly. I'm trying to think of a solo. No, I think it's chip pull for me. I think it's done a lot for games. I think.
Same here. Chip pull.
Oh, I was going to go and get some. Ooh, I love that sound.
I enjoy chip ball, but I would say CDG, card driven game. Obviously, I'm the card guy, but yeah, I it's funny. I don't play that many games with cards, but yeah, I think because the cards give you different avenues to use them for their different uses, just like your chip pull system gives you different.
Talking. I'm just going to get some ice for my bourbon.
So Jester, then I'm not understanding. Then, if so, you mainly just play card-driven games, correct?
No, I play.
You play a lot. Because
I play Normandy 44. That's not
Okay.
a card-driven game. That is a chit hex encounter with chits and counters and
right
CRTs and normal dice. So
right, if it doesn't have a TNT, it's not a proper war game.
Yeah, there you go.
Doesn't have a terrain effects chart. It's not a proper war game.
Well, there you go. Anyway,
I'm just kidding.
I know.
Like Steve from
a tactical game based on. Do you know what, Ian? The SAS Iranian embassy sieged. I remember watching that on the television as it happened. It was like, wow, that would be a great sort of game. I don't know how you do it. Maybe States of Siege or something. I don't know. Or the mock heavy water plant. Yeah,
without firing a shot.
I would like to see. Speaking of Normandy 44, Saving Private Ryan. You know the cinematic battle at the end, the Battle of Ramal. I would like to see a tactical scenario based upon the paratroopers trying to hold the bridge and the Germans coming in with the tanks and all that. I think that would be cool to, just because you've seen it in the movie, just to play it out and see how it would be played.
Now, I think there aren't enough games on these sort of quite famous but little represented
it would be
areas.
My thought is, like, sometimes these little niche events are really cool, but they're difficult. One thing is they're difficult to turn into games. Not everything can be turned. Not every historical event can be turned into a game, because while it's interesting, it may not make an interesting game. And two is, it's hard to, I can imagine, I don't know, but I can imagine it might be hard to try and market and sell a very niche topic that people aren't aware of. Especially to do like a P500, to get those 500 orders.
I mean,
Kickstarter. That's what Kickstarter's for.
Yeah. Don't start him off now. He's coming sideways. Look.
Yeah, it's sneaking in.
He's throwing you a bit of a
That's what Kickstarter's for. That's what everyone seems to think.
Yeah, but they're not.
Just get the money, and then you can make whatever the hell you want.
But I still think my point stands, though. Like, it's
difficult. I think you're right. I'd love to have a game on the Iranian embassy siege, but would it work? I don't know. It was quite a well-known thing. I think most people around the world knew about it because it was televised. Mm-hmm. Watching that chap on the windowsill go in, that was it. Bang, out comes the window. In goes, out as Jethro Tull's song, out goes the window, and the hard boys come in and get you out, sort of thing. So, it was very good television. But how you would do it, I don't know.
Do a tactical game on the O.J. Simpson chase.
You've got it. You've got that racing game. It'd have to be like a 20-foot piece, a 20-foot game ball, though, wouldn't it? So you'd just carry on down the road.
Now, Ruff, I actually have, speaking of your, for your birthday,
Yes.
is a game that I think that it's a solitaire game that I don't think a lot of people have considered. What I mean by that is the sort of the side that you play in this game. And I don't know if you've heard of it before. I know that you have not played many of this game.
No, I have not.
It's a Ben Madison game.
So it's a solo game, yes?
Solitaire game. Let's see if I can get it in here a little bit so you can see the map. Oops. There you go. And so it's States of Siege, but you don't play Boney, you play the Coalition. And you're trying to get him out. And the solitaire system is the French, and it's hard, but it is very, very fun. Especially when like there's multiple different like minor wars that happen throughout the game, and you as the British, you're trying to decide, do I want to spend a lot of money to try to support this minor war so we can get more money later on, or is it worth the effort or not? There's a lot of risk rewards type situations in there, but then also like you have to send off troops to go fight the War of 1812 and burn down the White House.
God bless us.
But yeah, I mean, I bought this. Speaking of Stuka Joe's comment, I bought this based off of Stuka Joe's videos, and I love it. It's one of my favorite Napoleonic games.
Yeah, it's something I know about it, and the other one of his, the complete Second World War one, he's done as well.
Absolute Victory?
No. Ben Madison's for White Dog Games, I think it is.
Yes. Global War.
Everybody raves about that.
Yeah, that one's very good. I have that one. Except sometimes, depending on the game, sometimes my joy will turn to horror, knowing that I
got a game I bought, Ruff. Do you want me to show you what it is, Ruff?
Yeah, I'd love to. Sorry, there's so many comments. Thank you, sir. Oh, is it? Oh, Gold Blow, don't have an accident. I'm not insured. That's a good question. But I suppose you get that with fantasy games, sci-fi games.
It's I think this is going to be a great game for you. You're really going to like this one.
I'm sorry, I've not heard of that. Not heard of that.
Goodbye.
As long as you tell me it's a block game.
So
if you tell me it's a block game, I'm going to get out of here.
It's got little miniatures on it. It's got a little board. It's got cards.
Yeah.
It's actually one of the best games out there.
According to some, yes. I've never even heard of
some. So I would highly recommend. I'm going to ship this out to you, Ruff, and give it to you.
Okay, yeah, and I'll do a live stream where I go, like, chuck it down the bloody room. That game haunts me now because that's the game where you had a hissy and left, and that's always going to be my bloody memory of that game.
The fact that you and Nate.
Here we go.
Yeah, here we go.
Look what you had to say something. Don't spoil his birthday.
Like, you've never heard of a block game before in your entire lifetime. You never heard of Tire Iron.
No, we hadn't. I hadn't. I'd heard of it. Yes, let's put it. I did say I had heard of it, but I don't know anything about
it. The only
it.
game that I have that has blocks in it is Command and Colors Ancient. That's the only one I really know about.
I steer clear of them because they're not normally solo friendly.
Yeah,
because of the hidden info. So there we are.
Which ones?
Command and Colors Ancients. Or just any
you
of the
don't like the Command and Color Ancients?
I like it.
Yes. We're just saying that's the only block game that we play because it's solo friendly.
Yeah, the Command and Color Ancients, Command and Color Napoleonics, Command and Color Medieval, Memoir 44, Space Space. What is it? Space. Red Alert.
Yep.
I'm trying to think of some of the other ones.
Command and Colors.
Battle War.
Tricorn, yeah.
Yeah, there's
Jacobite.
only like 20,000 games on the same system.
Yeah, and that's
Battle
fine.
Cry. Thank you, Edward. Very good.
The Jacobite game.
Yeah.
Right, Jacobot. Right.
Ye Jacobites by name. Yes.
And actually, no, I was thinking Tide of Iron had something similar to it, but it doesn't. No, just ignore that.
I thought you were going to get up there and get rough those little plastic Stukas.
I don't know where they are anymore. I got the box around here somewhere. I think.
Oh dear.
Boy, man, that was one of my favorite episodes of the War Room. Was one.
Yeah, I was gobsmacked when he did that. When it bounced off his back wall there, that was.
See, the door should have been open in the back. It would have just gone into the pool.
Yeah.
It would have gone. It would have left, and would have never. I think it's over there behind my
Unless
TV.
you still have it. You didn't actually put it in the trash can.
I've not. Yeah, I'm going to sell it. I mean, might as well try to sell it. I just.
Well, I
this was
think
part
after
of,
the sort
this
of
was part of my rant today. was
Look, you have an
that
offer.
game and
You
the
have an
cost.
offer.
The cost of
There you go.
there you go.
$25.
I think you're going to have a job after you've bigged up that game. Everybody's going to be chomping at the bit to buy it off you. I think
That's right.
he's still going to have. Stuka's still going to have the hump with me because I do mention the fact that I've renamed him Spitfire Joe for the Skies Above Britain. No, I haven't really, but I do mention
You should. You absolutely should.
that.
Okay, so Ruff, then I have another game.
Yes.
It's not always bright and sunny and warm in the British Isles.
What are you saying? No, very true. It still gets chilly here on
I
June
bet.
at night.
So I thought you might want to go to a place that's warm and sunny and tropical even.
Oh, lovely.
It's not the coast of Spain. This would be in the Caribbean.
Oh, pirates.
Uh-huh. And it's a pretty fun little game. And it's solitaire as well.
Yeah, another white dog game, yeah.
Yep. And very, very, very good game. So you should check that out.
Well, I will when you send them to me.
Of course.
That's great.
I mean, I might not get a video on it for I don't know how long.
Listen, Nate, I sent him a box 2 years ago, and I'm still waiting for him to acknowledge the fact that he received a box from me with all kinds of good
don't
stuff.
Believe it. Don't. He's winding you up again. I was overwhelmed with emotions.
Let's see.
Not even open the box.
There was a game called Tank Leader in there, right?
No.
Yes.
No.
No.
It's called Tiger Leader.
Oh, Tiger Leader. Oh, I'm sorry, Tiger Leader. There was a game called Tiger Leader in there. There was a game called Omaha.
Yeah, that's up.
What was
there.
the one? What was the one game? I don't know if you sent it to him or not.
played
It had the different colored card backs. Did you send that to him as well?
See,
No, that was the Omaha one. That was. It has the different.
No, that was
colored
no. That's
pieces
got
on
the
board.
colours. I have trouble with it because I'm colourblind. Those games, I
Right.
love to play them, and I've tried to video them, and it's like really hard work. I was so stressed out because I had to keep checking the colours. I play it offline, and
Here's
I don't
the
care.
thing. What he doesn't tell you is he just bought the one game in the system. Which game was it you bought? And you're like, oh, this is a great game. I love this game. And blah blah blah. And so I was like, oh, I got the companion game, the Omaha. I'm going to ship it. I'll just ship it to you. And so I shipped it to him. Like the next week, he says, "Oh, I tried this game and I can't play it because I just can't see all the
video
different
it.
colors." I'm like, well, that's great. You just told me how much you loved it.
No, I've played them all, but not online. They're bloody hard to win as well. And I don't give a monkeys about. I do my best with the colours. And if I get it wrong, nobody dies. but doing it on the channel is a little different. So they're very stressful to video on the channel. But yeah, I've played them. I've played Tiger Leader. I've played them. The only ones I haven't had a good go at are the TCS ones you sent me.
Yes.
I haven't had a good go at those, but Tweez keeps threatening me to try and have a go at them. So we may be doing those in the future. But yeah.
I was actually just watching a video of his today.
He's doing Balls of Hegra, isn't he?
Well, I watched an old one. It was a playthrough of Knock Paris because I had that out on my table.
He is working still on that video.
I thought about I like Knock Paris. It's not hard. Like the each of the mechanics aren't hard to learn, but when you put them all together,
Eve.
Oh hey,
Eve. Great to meet you and the guys. Must say, great to meet you and the guys at PunchCon. Hope you're doing well, sir.
He came for your birthday.
I mentioned it. But yeah, Knock Paris is it's when you put them all together, it can be a little daunting. I mean, like there's a lot of tracking. If a unit moves its entire movement, then you need to put a little counter on it to note for later. And if it moves less than half of its movement, or excuse me, a little more than half, then you have to put another counter on it. And it just, but it's a great looking game, and it's not hard, but there's just a lot to it.
Great game. It's one of the best games out there, man. It is awesome.
So you're going to keep it?
No, mine will be for sale.
Oh,
but he loves it.
He does love it.
He's learned his mistake from the what was it called? Was it the Road to Moscow or something?
Yes.
Yeah, he's learned. You know, he's got to.
And you can watch Blue Tweezers play it if you want to learn half the rules.
Yeah, he only tells you those when it's your go. After you've had your go, rather. Yeah. But yeah, he's working. I spoke to him a little while back, and he's still trying to get that video done for the rail rules. I think that will please a lot of people.
Is he finished with solving crime?
Oh yes, it went very well. Evidently, yes. And he grew that little tash to make him look more sort of Belgique, I suppose.
Oh, was that his acting thing?
Yeah, but his wife liked it, so he's got to keep it.
What?
Yeah. With me, it's the full lot or nothing. You know, it's. But yeah, he's keeping it because Maria.
Obviously, it's nothing, Russ.
No, well, that was the other thing, because he shaved it off because I shaved mine off, and she went, "I like it. You look like a criminal. Keep it." So he's had to keep the bald head as well, because he used to be like Tony used to keep the bit, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he's got to keep the moustache as well.
Interesting.
Just trying to see what else we got. Yeah, glad to hear it. Glad to hear it, Eve. As I say, great to meet you guys at PunchCon.
So I'll tell you something. On
he keeps trying, doesn't he?
On I had
bet a 0 on the end of that somewhere.
I had a really interesting play session on Monday, Memorial Day, with some friends. We were playing. I think I told you that we had played one turn of Fatal Alliances, the World War I version of World in Flames, and we went to go. We were a little dubious about it, but we thought we're going to give it one more go and then go from there. Oh, Tony's here.
Yeah, Tony just turned up. Thank you, darling.
And so Monday we played it, and I was the Entente. Particularly, I was playing Britain and France, and another one of my friends was playing Russia. I did as the Brits, as the Germans sallied out the entire high seas fleet into the North Sea. And the way that the game worked, there was an opportunity for me as the British to land an expeditionary force in Germany proper while the German fleet was out of port. And so I did, and I landed a bunch of guys and on a hex that was empty. But according to the rules, when you naval invade a hex that's empty in that game, there's an inherent unit that's already there. And so you had to tally up how much it was. So, okay, it was still like 2-to-1 odds in my favor. I rolled. I got I think it was a 12, and then there was a +2 modifier. So I got 14. And the way that the combat chart worked is I lost everything. This like 4 units that I had landed. I lost everything, and he lost nothing. And I thought, no, this can't be. No, this can't be. Like on the chart, it was like you would see results of I would land. All of a sudden, everything's dead, and then he's there. Still. It was like the one result stuck right in the middle where everything dies, and it didn't make sense for the rest of the combat chart of why this one odd result is there. And I'll tell you, for me personally, but also for the rest of the group, that kind of destroyed the whole game of thinking like that seemed very gamey, that there's no unit there, but then all of a sudden there's something there. It was like I landed something like 120,000 guys on the shores of Germany, and this little border unit sunk all my transports, even though there's nobody there in the hex. So
they've obviously put that in. They've had a bit of play testing, and they're thinking, this is going to be gained if we don't do something about it.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, it seems a bit.
Well, it teaches you not to invade, then, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Oh, yeah. And we put the game away, and we pulled out. You ever play Conquest of the Empire?
No.
Very fun game. Very, very fun game.
Now, Coy has gone all posh. What do one's partners think? My husband and I. Yes. So, see, I think Nate, he's sensible. He doesn't have somebody live with him. Me and Jester have. What my partner think? Well, Gaynor, as you know, fantastic. She puts up with me taking over half the living room, / lounge, whatever you want to call it, with my games and things and boxes everywhere. And my daughter came over with a bloke this afternoon to wish me a happy birthday. And I don't think he's been over for a while. And he wandered over here and he looked, and he just looked at me and went, what's going on? What's all that? I said, it's all my games. He said, what's all those? I said, it's all my games. I've run out of room. They're everywhere now. You couldn't scratching his head. So, but my wife is fantastic. This is my bit. She hates it. I'm not saying she likes it, but she puts up with it because it's what I do. And great. She's great with it. She's starting to get a bit, you must stop ordering games because they're going to end up in my half of the living room, and that's a no-no. So, but yeah, I think Jess, is yours as accommodating?
I think she's just like Gaina, but she's going to put up with it to a point, but now she's kind of over the point. Like when she comes in here, she rolls her eyes, she points at me like,
"Stop it!" Yeah,
stop it, and then she turns around and leaves. Yeah.
Well, that's good. That's a good response in the scheme of things.
Yeah.
So I did say there are some other halves.
Get out. You don't have to see it then.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's, you got lucky you got your room there. But I dare say there's other people maybe in the chat, with their other halves or significant others or whatever you want to call them, that maybe aren't so kind to their
possible
other halves.
Then there's me, I'm not married yet, but would like to be someday.
Don't wish it on yourself, Nate. Please.
Of course. Come on now.
Things will change.
Oh, you're like 30 something, right?
35.
Yeah, you got plenty of time.
Plenty of time. Yeah, plenty of time. Have 2 or 3 on the go. Just just enjoy yourself. Everything changes, doesn't it?
Down and you see all those books behind you. What woman do you think is going to let you keep those books?
She'll want to put those little
be
glass
getting rid of
animals.
these books.
Those little glass animals will be on there.
Little glass animals. I hope you like unicorns, Nate, because they're all going to see unicorns.
Doesn't dissuade me from wanting to be married someday. My parents have been married for more than 40 years, and my dad is. I mean, I get this stuff from my dad. My dad has an office full of books and everything, and he plays war games on the computer. But and yeah, my mom loves that about him.
I think they love us because of the weirdness of the hobby we have, and it's like, oh, bless him. Oh, never mind. Nobody else will put up with that. I have to, put up with these nonsense. Well, you shouldn't have left that girlfriend, Christoph, should you?
Yeah, you should have been better to her, I guess.
Yeah.
So we're hitting about the hour.
Yes, we are.
I'm curious to know what happened today besides your glorious birth.
That makes me sound like something I'm not.
When you were born, did your parents go out to the town square and hear ye, hear ye?
Yes, they held me up. Yeah,
that's right, like the Lion King.
Mm.
Yes.
You want to know what happened today? All right, then. 1st of June, my birthday. Lots and lots. But we start with something that isn't war-related history-wise, but and it's not for me because I can't drink the stuff. But for Scotch drinkers out there, in 1495, Friar John Core recorded the first known batch of Scotch whiskey in Lindores Abbey, Fife. So they've been doing it for a little while, making this Scotch stuff. So that happened today, 1495. And then we whiz forward to 1648. The Roundheads defeated the Cavaliers at the Battle of Maidstone, which is in Kent, in the Second English Civil War, which is sort of mentioned in this game that somebody's mentioned already, Cruel Necessity, which covers the 3 civil wars. And then whizzing forward a bit more, 1670 in Dover, England, Charles II of England and Louis XIV of France signed the secret Treaty of Dover, which will force England into the Third Anglo-Dutch War. So what's all this about? This Treaty of Dover, also known as the Secret Treaty of Dover, because the last thing they wanted to do was for the inhabitants of this fair isle to find out what it was all about, was a treaty between England and France signed today, 1670. It required that Charles II of England would convert to the Roman Catholic Church at some future date, and that he would assist Louis XIV with 60 warships and 4,000 soldiers to help in France's war of conquest against the Dutch Republic, because the Dutch were a major force in them days. We were at war with them many times. In exchange, Charles would secretly receive a yearly pension of £230,000, which in them days must have been a king's ransom, as well as an extra sum of money when Charles informed the English people of his conversion. And France would send 6,000 French troops if there was ever a rebellion against Charles in England. A secret treaty was signed by the Earl of Arlington, Baron Arundel, Baron Clifford, and Sir Richard Bellings for England, and the Marquis of Croissy for France. The 2 kings exchanged letters of ratification and kept secret the existence of the treaty. It would have caused mayhem in merry old England, as you can imagine, because of Henry VIII. A public treaty of Dover was also negotiated, but it was a screen designed for propaganda purposes. See, it even went on in them days, and to hide the religious dimensions of the secret treaty. The Third Anglo-Dutch War was a direct consequence of this treaty, and the actual treaty was published by historians a century later. Did he announce that he had converted to Catholicism? No, he did that on his deathbed. He finally converted on his deathbed and died a Catholic, so the English were spared that. Would have caused a riot. Would have caused a civil war.
Which is
1717.
funny that the French never got involved. I mean, the Glorious Revolution and everything, they never got involved.
Yeah. It's weird how important religion was in sort of the 15th, 16th, 17th centuries. Right. This day as well, you guys will appreciate this. 1779, 1st of June, the court-martial for malfeasance of Benedict Arnold, a general in the Continental Army during the American Revolutionary War, begins. I think he got off all but 2 dodgy expense things that he didn't tell the Americans what he was spending stuff on. All the rest of the stuff he got away with. Go figure.
Yep.
1794, and this is in this game.
I was wondering if you were going to mention
of course,
this.
I've got to mention the battle for the glorious 1st of June is fought. The first naval engagement between Britain and France during the French Revolutionary Wars. The glorious 1st of June, also known as the 4th Battle of Ushant, was the first and largest fleet action of the naval conflict between the kingdoms of Great Britain and the First French Republic during the French Revolutionary Wars. The action was a culmination of a campaign that had crisscrossed the Bay of Biscay over the previous month, in which both sides had captured numerous merchant ships and minor warships and had engaged in 2 partial but inconclusive fleet actions. The British Channel Fleet, under Admiral Lord Howe, attempted to prevent the passage of a vital French grain colony from the United States, which was protected by the French Atlantic Fleet, commanded by Rear Admiral Villars-Joyeuse. The 2 forces clashed in the Atlantic Ocean, some 400 nautical miles west of the French island of Ushant on the 1st of June. During the battle, Howe defied naval convention by ordering his fleet to turn towards the French and for each of his vessels to rake and engage their immediate opponent. Raking is where you turn either the bow or the stern and give them all, and goes for things like the rigging and stuff like that. This unexpected order was not understood by all of his captains, and as a result, his attack was more piecemeal than he intended. Nevertheless, his ships inflicted a severe tactical defeat on the French fleet. In the aftermath of the battle, both fleets were left shattered, in no condition for further combat. Howe and Villars returned to their home ports. Despite losing 7 of his ships of the line, Villars had brought enough time for the French grain convoy to reach safety unimpeded by Howe's fleet, securing a strategic success. However, he was also forced to withdraw his battle fleet back to port, leaving the British free to conduct a campaign of blockade. It's this stuff here, sorry, for the rest of the war. In the immediate aftermath, both sides claimed victory, and the outcome of the battle was seized upon by the press of both nations as a demonstration of the prowess and bravery of their respective navies. The glorious 1st of June demonstrated a number of the major problems inherent in the French and British navies at the start of the Revolutionary Wars. Both admirals were faced with disobedience from their captains, along with ill discipline and poor training among their short-handed crews, and they failed to control their fleets effectively during the height of the combat. So a bit of a long-winded thing about the 1st of June, glorious 1st of June, but yeah, it's in this in that game. So and it's a big, as you can imagine, a big old battle. And then 1812, the War of 1812, which has been mentioned already today. US President James Madison asks the Congress to declare war on the United States. Not very friendly.
Wait a minute. He asked to declare war on himself?
Why? That's what it says.
James Madison asked to declare war on Great Britain. You mentioned James Madison asked to declare war on the United States.
I'm sorry, did I? I told you. Take the bottle away from me, please. It says here, sorry, declare war on the United Kingdom.
Ah, okay.
There you go.
No, I didn't change history there. 1813, capture of the USS. I hope I say this right. Chesapeake.
You did.
Oh, blimey. Right. And then 1860, I think that was called the Battle of Boston.
No.
They captured that. 1861, American Civil War. The Battle of Fairfax Courthouse is fought. Also, weirdly, a year later, on exactly the same day, the Peninsula Campaign, the Battle of Seven Pines, or the Battle of Fair Oaks ends inconclusively with both sides claiming victory.
Yep.
Weird. And
Seven
then,
Days Battle.
yeah, and then 1879, the death of Napoleon, Prince Imperial, also known as Louis Napoleon Bonaparte, the last dynastic Bonaparte. After his father was dethroned in 1870, he relocated with his family to England and served with British forces in the Anglo-Zulu War. He was killed in a skirmish with a group of Zulus and is buried in Farnborough, Hampshire. His death destroyed the hope for the restoration of the House of Bonaparte to the throne of France. Hold on.
There's still some Bonaparte pretenders, though, out there.
Oh, yes.
Just like the House of Habsburg is still around.
Yep, and yeah, yes. I've lost where I am now. 1900. Stop talking to me. I've been drinking. 1907. Frank Whittle, English inventor who developed the jet engine, was born at Earlston, a suburb of Coventry, on today. And 1938, the Bren gun was issued to the armed forces. The name was derived from.
It's getting bad, man.
I know. I tell you, don't let me drink anymore. The Bren gun. Let's start again. 1938. The Bren gun was issued to the armed forces. The name was derived from Brno, a Czech town where it was first made, and Enfield, where it was made in Britain. That was much better, wasn't it?
It was. It was excellent.
1939, the first flight of the German Focke-Wulf FW-190 aircraft. Hold on, we've got a picture.
I was waiting for one.
Yeah, we've got to have a picture. Let's see if I can do it.
Birthday, it'll be pixelated.
Let's see if I can do it in my state, because that's strong stuff.
Yeah, don't have any more.
No, I'm not.
Do it when you're not live. Oh, edit and designer. Oh, okay, interesting. Just
I can't do it now. No, what have I done now? Look, see, all I wanted
X
to do.
there.
There's a beauty. That's a good looking plane.
It's a nice plane, isn't it? Now, the only thing is, with that thing on the tail there, we're going to get demonetized, you see. They've taken that. When you buy a model plane of this now, that's not on the tail.
Interesting.
Because. Anyway, so that was today at its first.
I was very surprised when me and Phoenix Knight played Black Orchestra. That symbol was all over that game. And I'm like, wow, I am very surprised that they have that, on the cards and everything.
I'm surprised as well, because the games from Stratagemata, there's one game, that one I did, the first one I did, it's on the channel, has little the counters, and you turn them one way or the other to see whose turn it is, and it's Americans, and it's got the swastika on the back, the German swastika flag on the back. So it's quite strange. And then a couple more. 1941, World War II, the Battle of Crete ends as Crete capitulates to Germany. And this one I found very weird. 1943, BOAC Flight 777 is shot down over the Bay of Biscay by 8 German Junkers 88s, killing British actor Leslie Howard, rather. Leslie Phillips, that's another one. Leslie Howard. One theory suggests that the Germans attacked the aircraft because they believed that the British Prime Minister Winston Churchill was aboard. Another suggested that it was targeted because several passengers were British spies, including Howard. And just we're going to finish on a happy note. In 1962, Adolf Eichmann is hanged in Israel. And a good film to watch. There's been a couple on it, but a good film with Ben Kingsley is Operation Finale, 2018 film. Very good, where Kingsley plays Eichmann.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic film. So that's today. Apologies for the hiccups.
Yes, sir. Wow.
Well, speaking of spies and things like that, I do have a couple of books today to show you all. It is, well, let me first start with this one. The True Story of Ian Fleming, because he was a commando in World War II.
Yeah.
And so it's all about him and his exploits in World War II. So nice book. Again, not very long. What, 350 pages? That's not bad. That's not bad at all.
No, it's okay. I know we joke about the pages, but it's.
And then
I'm just checking the chat while you're talking. I'm listening.
And then there's another one that I was really excited to get. It's called Churchill's War Lab, and it is all about code breakers, boffins, and innovators. The Mavericks Churchills led to victory. It's all with the scientists and the weird inventions that the British came up with during World War II. Some of my favorite is how the British came to sink the Tirpitz. When it was stationed in Norway in a fjord, there was little midget submarines that they could cut through the submarine wire and then went right underneath the battleship and put bombs underneath the battleship. But they went off, but it didn't cause enough damage. And then they had to invent different airplane bombs to drop from airplanes and figure out ways how to get through the smoke defenses that were there. So, but this is a great book all about Churchill and how he orchestrated the British scientists and code breakers and everything in order to win the war.
That is an iconic picture of Churchill there. That is one of the famous pictures. Yes, because we were talking about that last week, weren't we? About the lady who'd written all the spy books about the Second World War. Yeah, find it fascinating. And again, technology, we led the way. In technology because of that war. Not the best thing, but that's a lot of
and
things came out of the war.
I mentioned this to you last week off or in the green room, but I'll mention it today for everyone's benefit. Is this book too? I know we're already demonetized, so it doesn't matter. The Spies Who Never Were: The True Story about the Nazi spies who were actually Allied double agents. About every German spy sent to Britain during the war ended up turning on them.
Was turned, yeah.
And this was written by a guy who was one of the agents working at Bletchley Park. And so it's his story as well, weaved into it. But things like, a guy called Tricycle, who was said to be Ian Fleming's model for James Bond, who knew of the attack on Pearl Harbor 4 months before it happened.
They all knew. You all knew. Get out of here.
Or the spy Tate, who was so good at being a double agent that the Germans gave him an Iron Cross.
Yes.
And there's several other stories in this. This is a great book, and it's only 200 pages.
Oh, sounds like my type of book then.
Yeah.
Nice.
A little baby book.
Yeah. See, I am capable of coming up with shorter books for you.
We'll see.
We'll
that's
see.
Cool. No, that's cool. That's cool. I like the book.
Anyway,
I like your section there. I like the books because I know I can't order anymore because I ain't got any room to put them in.
Well, you don't have any so I'm waiting for the day when it.
Well, here's the thing: these books,
like game come out,
slide right in there, and there's little spots, so you could get those books on there.
Yeah, my OCD doesn't like that. Sliding books in would just make it worse. So I'd have to sort of cross my fingers and go around 3 times every time.
So when are you going to solve this, or is it just going to be a problem forever and ever?
Something I've got to live with now. I've got to get used to it. You see, and I'll just get used. Familiarity with it will make it less grating. We are working on it. Don't worry. It's
all
just
right, I shared my screen
don't mention the war, okay? As they say.
All right, Jester, your segment now.
All right, I shared my screen with you, Ruff. There you go. All right, so today we're going to count down 470 to 461 in our 500 greatest war games of all time. We start off with number 470, the Hordes. I think this was on last week, wasn't it?
I think so.
But this is the dynamicness of it.
Yeah, it got moved up the list, so it's on the list again. It is number 470 this week. 2 to 8 players, 60 minutes. It looks like a miniatures game. Miniature rules. I don't know much about it.
No, it's a new one on me.
War Machine. It's 100% compatible with War Machine. I don't know anything about it, but there you go. That is number 470. Some of these are really going to surprise you. They surprised me. Number 469, Königsberg. The Soviet attack on East Prussia in 1945. This came out in 2018.
That's one of Tony's favorites, that Revolution.
1 to 3 players, so solo system.
Yeah.
240 to 480 minutes. It's a longer game. Weight 2.25.
I don't know if it has a solo bot in it.
No, I think he plays it's both sides you play.
Yeah, I think you just play both sides. It's a traditional hex encounter war game.
Yeah, lots of little counters. Yep. All right, number 468. Conquest and Conquest.
BBG.
Yeah, it's a BBG. I've heard of this one. This is why I don't have it, you see.
I do like the map.
This is a block game. I'm surprised you've heard of this one because
I have heard of this one, and I've heard of it.
Look at all those blocks. Oh my God, blocks everywhere.
Not very
Number 467, Steel Wolves.
I
hear a lot.
Germany's submarine campaign against Brits and Allied shipping. Volume 1, 1939 to 1943. This came out in 2010.
I'm not sure they made a volume 2, did they?
Yes, Silent War.
Oh, that's what Silent War. That's volume 2. I've got Silent War. Yes.
Yeah, that's that's their most popular game ever. Is Silent War.
Yeah, that's on my list to play as well. And yes, looking forward to that.
So that's number 467. 466 is Napoleon 1807. Came out in 2020.
I've thought about getting one of those games because there's like 1806, 1807, 1815.
It's a European company, isn't it?
I think so, yeah.
It's in my
it's
part.
Another block game, by the way.
Yeah, but it does say it's. I think if we go back to the page, it does say 1 or 2 players. I think. No, 2 players.
Yeah, 1 to 2. Yeah.
No, 1 or 2. No, it says okay. Well, if you get one, Nate, let me know how you get on with it.
Okay.
Yeah. Make sure you diss it really good. So I don't get
Napoleon 1807 is intended for seasoned grognards.
Oh,
as well as young conscripts who want to try a new playful sensation. What kind of writing is this?
That's not selling it to us, grognards.
Very persuasive, huh?
I'm thinking. I'm like,
oh, playful.
First of all, this cover is
awful. Cover does look a little strange.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Number 465 is Zero.
Oh,
Rise and Fall of the Imperial Japanese Air Force, December 1941 to June 1942.
Oh, Dan Verson.
An old game, came out in 2001. I think this is the card game, right?
That's Dan Verson, yes.
Yeah.
Which turned into didn't it turn into Dewberry? He played the other card game he's got with the aircraft.
Warfighter?
No. Where you play it's your maneuvers.
Oh.
I like this one.
This is a GMT one.
Yeah, well, he used to work for GMT, and that leader game that everybody loves, the one with the
designer was Dan Verson. Then
the one with the tank buster.
Started his own crappy company. Yeah.
Oh God, no! He's started.
Down in Flames. Is that it?
Down in Flames. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
It looks similar to that.
The power of our chat. Amazing.
I know they're brilliant. They're a wealth of knowledge.
Next up, number 464. I think it's going to surprise a lot of people. another sub game, Beneath the Med.
Yeah.
Came out in 2020.
Gregory Smith.
Greg Smith. I thought this would be higher. I really did.
Yeah, I think it depends, doesn't it? I mean,
I've never played a sub game.
got it. Yeah, it's maybe they had their day. They're so popular when they came out. It's sort of it was on everybody's table when the Hunters came out.
I haven't seen the Hunters. I don't think it's in print and available.
No, it's not.
It's on P500 again.
Yeah.
But yet it doesn't seem to have caused a lot of commotion.
I think everybody's got it. Everybody's got it. You know.
Yeah. Its day has come and gone.
But it is good. It is. Yeah, Charles says it's a good game. It's some say it's one of the better.
It's going to be another very surprising one. Very disappointing for me. Interceptor Ace, Daylight Air Defense over Germany, 1943 to 1944.
Is that the one you played the other day?
The one I played the other day.
And you weren't too impressed, were you?
I was not impressed at all. One player, Gregory Smith again. Yeah, it's just not a lot of decisions for the player. You're basically, I mean, that's true. When you're using Greg Smith's system, normally not a lot of decisions.
Yeah, you just follow the tables and the charts.
It just seems like for the price the price they wanted, it just didn't seem like there was a lot in the box. And
I mean, if I don't have that many decisions or any decisions at all, then it's not really a game.
It's a great theater of the mind game. If you just want to lose yourself for an hour or so, that and just let the game.
You want to play make believe. It's a good system.
Yeah, it's it tells its own story, but of course you don't have much input except for throwing the dice.
Okay, well, I won't be getting that.
But that's I love. When I'm in the mood, that's what I love. I don't want to think about it. I just tell it, get a story told in my head.
462 is Quebec 1759.
Oh,
this is an old game, 1972.
This is another BBG, isn't it?
Yeah. No wonder they're all in the bottom.
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody goes.
Look at another block game. Look at that.
Yeah, I know. By one of the main block makers of block games.
Games. Yeah.
I like Will's comment here. I hate losing myself. I haven't had enough time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a wonderful block games. Quite a few block games out there that we've never heard of.
No,
and last but not least, to round up the top 10 this week, number 461.
Quatre Bras.
1815, Last Eagle, 2019.
That's Hexasim, isn't it?
Mm-hmm, yeah, the Last Eagle series. Yeah.
Nice looking games.
I wondered that they have a second edition of their Waterloo game, and it looks nice. I don't know. I don't have a Waterloo game. I'm kind of looking for one, but
it's obviously
I think if you don't want a heavy thing like is it the OCS operational? No, what is it? The Napoleon? What?
La Bataille.
Yeah, that
one's super. Yeah,
yeah. If you don't want that, then these Hexasim ones are supposed to be a great, a great substitute. They're crunchy enough, not as crunchy as the.
Yeah, thanks, Nordic. Yeah, Napoleon's Last Gamble. I thought about that too, but I have.
That's the thing I was trying to think of. OSG, right?
Yeah, I do have his. What's it called? Bonaparte Overruns Piedmont, which I haven't played yet. So I want to do one of the OSG games before I, keep buying them.
Yeah, you got to buy before you try. Yeah,
right. Yeah,
try before you buy.
That's normally what you do, unless you're dumb. Yes, like me, you just order stuff and then try it.
The whole series.
Yes.
So, I guess this is the time where we can ask the chat if they have questions. Continue to put in questions for us.
Yeah, if you want to do that, and if you don't mind getting sort of nonsense answers from myself, then feel free. Because Ruff's been drinking, and I shouldn't have been. Yeah, this is well, it's gorgeous, but.
So, okay, I have a question for you, Ruff.
Go on then.
All right. So I remember when I first started watching this show eons ago, back in the dawn of time, that it was a regular occurrence about every 10 minutes of you saying, I love everything. I love everything. I love everything.
Yes. And people were commenting on it. You know, yes.
And I even remember when, nowadays when a certain company's mentioned we take a drink, but a particular, when you would say, I love everything, then it was that was the first go of it.
Right.
I
love everything.
But I don't hear that much often from you anymore.
That doesn't mean.
I'm sure. Okay. All right. It doesn't mean that you don't love everything, but I am curious of what games that you own that you've soured on.
There was a magazine game which I was really excited to try. And hold on, what we got here?
He's gonna name like 2 games.
Yeah, 2 games. Yeah, there's 2 games. Yeah. I'm sorry. I love everything apart from these 2 games. And one, it was a solo game in a magazine. I can't remember the name of it. And the rules were just like.
Oh, was it Luzon?
It might have been Luzon. Yeah, I think I mentioned it in a very early one. It was a solo game. It might have been Luzon. And the rules just looked like they were written by somebody who'd been drinking this all night, and I just couldn't make head and tail of it, which is a shame. But I think I said recently, may have to revisit that because it might have been my inexperience at the time that I couldn't get enough out the rules, which still makes them a badly written rule set if I have to come back after a couple of years more experience. And the other one is the other game that we mentioned earlier, why I haven't got it on the channel yet. Say no more.
Okay, interesting.
But yeah, everything else, some I like more than others, but there's no game I've gone, well, there are games that not for me, but it doesn't necessarily make them a bad game for somebody else.
Very true.
And there's been a couple of those that I thought, yeah, not for me. Look, somebody else playing it will.
Stalingrad Z or whatever it is.
I said not to mention it.
Oh.
Anyway.
I didn't know you were talking about that.
I may give it another go, but it's more of a puzzle game, and I don't want that in a game.
Yeah.
If I want that, I'll play a non-war game puzzle game.
Right.
You have to work out where you need to go so you can avoid, the baddies. Right.
So I will answer a couple of questions that came up in the chat. One,
look at this. Look, yes, we've got another convert. I converted him, and helped at PunchCon. We were playing that. Had a great time playing that. Sorry.
Coy wants to know when's the games when are games going to replace my books? Not going to happen. So
yeah, we'll wait.
E4 Airman told me he got Fall of Carthage, and great. It's okay if you got the 2000 edition. That's okay. The content's still the same. This is a 2006 version. They just put a new cover on it and everything. So you still have a good book.
Oh, it hasn't changed. It's just copied up the cover. Yeah.
Yep. And
they didn't rewrite the book. No, it's the same book.
They do sometimes rewrite huge.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Okay. Not that book, but some books they rewrite because of new information that's come in.
And Christoph wants to know how my PhD is doing. It is a lot of work, but I'm on the last little bit of. I have these. They're called composition courses. Basically, they want you to gear you up for when you're going to teach courses that aren't in your specific field. So I'm doing 4 of those, and that should be done by the end of the summer, and then it's dissertation time. So I should be finished by this time next year. Looks like. So anyway,
then we've got to call you Dr. Nate. I don't know if I want to do Dr. Nate.
Oh, please don't call me Dr. Nate.
I'm going to call you Doc. All right.
Oh, no. Now, there's a question for you, Ruff. How important is balance in games you enjoy?
Do you mean between the two opposing sides?
Yeah.
Not very important for me as a solo player predominantly, because and a good case in point for me is Panzer Grenadier Eastern Front, where there's a gazillion load of scenarios, but are very one-sided, and that's great for the solo player to play because you just have to defend, and you can see how well you do against the onslaught of the other side. So if I'm playing opposed with a real person, then yeah, sure, I don't want to be the guy that's sitting there twiddling my thumbs because I'm going to get overwhelmed by war elephants and charioteers or whatever in a few moves time. No. So if I'm playing face to face, yeah, a good balance. So either side, depending on their luck and their tactics, can win. Not so much if I'm playing a two-handed game, because the underdog is the one you play, and try and not be the underdog. So yeah.
Jester, what about you? Balance in a game. Does a game need to be balanced for you to enjoy it?
It's got to be balanced with. I don't know if this answers your question or not, but it's got to be balanced with something that's doable. Whether we're talking victory points, like there's if you're playing a game and it's like the AI is going to get 50 victory points, and you're like, I got 5. It's not very balanced, so it just doesn't make it very fun. So I would say balance, as long as it's balanced based upon what your goal at the end is going to be.
Okay.
So that's great, isn't it? Two completely sort of different answers, because two different people. So that's why, this is such a great hobby. Anyway, I love it.
There is a question for you, Jester, from Christoph.
Yeah, I wasn't going to mention that.
I'm scared, but I'm curious.
I have 0 Kickstarters going on right now.
Oh, interesting.
He's learned, I think.
I only kickstart the ones that I know from companies that I trust that aren't going to screw you over. So
yeah, and I mean,
fair.
Non-war games, it's Awakening Realms, because
and I'm not going to support a broken process that does nothing but feed the frenzy and create bad games with bad game design. Which you can watch my video. It's an hour and a half of me explaining everything I just talked about.
Don't, it'll upset you.
It's not even me. It's me explaining things and just explaining why
I caught the last few minutes of it, and you were explaining things in a very sort of measured and calm.
You probably got out everything earlier.
Yeah, the shouting happened in the first sort of 20 minutes, and the throwing of boxes, gnashing of teeth.
Here's the thing I learned is you can be the guy and I said this you can ask the people in the chat that were there. I've learned through the years that you can be the guy standing at the top of the mountain yelling and screaming, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. And it doesn't matter one bit, because people are going to make stupid mistakes and they're going to make stupid decisions. You can yell and scream all you want, and it doesn't make one bit of difference. One person out of 1,000 might change their mind because they heard what I had to say. So standing there yelling at the top of a mountain isn't going to make it one bit of difference. So I don't yell and scream as much as I used to. Now I just kind of say, this is the way it is. If you don't like it, don't do it. Be smart and listen to what I have to say. If you don't like it, too bad. That's kind of the way I do it now. Because before I get all red and frustrated and yelling and screaming, why do you do this? Why?
Blood pressure.
It's not good for you. So I got high blood pressure and.
True.
Yeah, it's no good. It's no good.
No.
They're still talking about balance here. Yeah, sure. But if you're playing the Poles in 39 against the Germans, you want to see how well you don't lose. I think that's how I would play it.
I am looking forward to there's a VUCA game coming out on that campaign.
Yes.
That looked interesting.
Yes, we saw the prototype.
I got a question for you guys.
Hold on, I've got one. Sorry, there's one there.
Well, the channel is up. The Board Game Bunker is live. There's like 5 videos, but we haven't gotten to any more lately. But we are having discussions. Let's put it that way.
All right. Good. Good to hear.
we have some good plans ahead.
All right.
So
my question is, most of you guys know this, but if you don't, the 80th anniversary of Normandy is Thursday. So in honor of that, do you plan on doing any special events, doing any live streams, anything at all to kind of, announce, hey, it's the 80th anniversary of Normandy? I think we all should, because I think, whether, people watch it today or 2 weeks from now or whatever, at least we'll try to educate some people out there
sure.
down the line. And the more people that do videos, a greater chance that people will see it and go, oh, wait, I got a post that says there was the 80th anniversary of Normandy. Oh my God.
I think people who are into history or into wargaming will know that it's an important anniversary. I mean, I was going to play D-Day at Omaha, but all you'd end up me seeing is me going, and he's coming onto that red spot. Oh, fuck, I know it's green. Oh, no. Is that yellow or orange? Yeah. So, yeah.
Is your wife colorblind?
No, but she can't sit while I play a 4-hour game.
No, but what she could do is she could get a marker, a Sharpie, and just write down R on all the red squares. And
no, I'm not defacing. I know this sounds weird.
No, don't deface the game.
I could not deface the
No.
board. I couldn't do that.
What you do is you FaceTime your wife and have the phone above the board.
Yeah.
Here's the other suggestion. Board Game Geek, somebody's already printed it out, and all you have to do is look at the sheet, and it tells you what the color is on the hex.
That's a good idea. And I'll tell you who did that, because I had problems with that color blindness with Dave Thompson's Castle Litter. And he didn't realize it was causing problems for colorblind people. So he put on Board Game Geek a picture of the map with the colors on it. So, yeah, which helps tremendously.
It's kind of a thing that's been very good in the last few years. A lot of companies now, if it's a blue, they'll make like a blue circle, yellow triangle, and they'll make it different shapes as well.
Skies above Britain. Okay, it's not too bad, but they've got on the yellow counters the word yellow, and on the green counters green and blue and red.
Oh, okay.
So it's something where, like, Ryan, from the other guy on Board Game Bunker, Ryan and I were having a discussion yesterday about that. In some sense, war games are getting better and I think more popular because war games are finally learning lessons that the Eurogame community has already learned, in terms of not just, you don't have to change the game itself to make it more Euro-y, but rather make it more accessible to the
rules,
player.
for instance, Jerry White rules are very Euro.
Yep. Or I talked about with him something I really liked from VUCA with Knock Paris is there's 9 scenarios on separate cards with its own map and everything, and it teaches you each element of the game before you get to the giant campaign. And the game is very deep. It's very complex, but it teaches you a little bit at a time. So then you put it all together and you can play the whole campaign.
Yeah, and I think a lot of companies are doing that pre-programmed or that programmed learning that used to do in the 70s and 80s for games like Carrier. The new Carrier Philippines does that. Learn this, now play scenario 1. Learn this, now play scenario 2.
My favorite bit in Atlantic Chase was when you play through the tutorials, it tells you read these 2 to 3 pages in the rule book, and then you can play this scenario.
But the problem is, of course, as you go further on, it's like read these 2 pages, play scenario 1, then the next one, read these 5 pages, and then time you get through, it's like read these 25 pages.
And then you realize, as the German player, you got one of 2 choices. You can either go through the Straits or you can go around England. That's your big decision.
And that's the 2 choices they had.
Oh, yeah.
That's exciting.
Speaking of, in the chat, Eve put on there about the Poland 39 game. We'll have multiple maps to introduce the game. I think that's awesome. That is great. Because there's been so many times where I have bought older war games and I lay it out and I'm kind of, I'm paralyzed of what do I do? How do I even go about learning this thing? Because it's so massive. There's counters everywhere. The rule book is just print. There's no pictures or anything like that. And it's very difficult to learn. Yeah, I think in some ways,
I mean, you've got it in Red Strike as well, because they've got millions of maps in there. So yes,
I want to get that game someday. Someday I'd like to try that out.
It's crunchy, but the way they explain it, it's we're just going to do air war, or we're just going to move some armies about, and that's.
I'm really curious to get it because my dad was in the military at the time and deployed in West Germany, and
yes, we'd have the federal agents come and visit your dad anyway.
But yeah, there's another example that you put on there from Pacific War, both the Victor games and the GMT. Each of the scenarios is teaching you something before you get to the big ones.
I think even that sci-fi game, that famous sci-fi game from the 70s that was taken from a book, Starship Troopers, used that sort of programmed learning. We've read this and played that.
This show started like 5 years ago, and we started bitching about these things 5 years ago. And I think game companies are finally watching our shows from 5 years ago and making changes.
That would be nice.
That they're slowly realizing, like, why couldn't we do this? And like, if you go back and look at any war game in the 80s and 90s, and you open up a rule book, it is just a block of text. That's all it is. It is literally just a block of text. There's no pictures. There's
even the early 2000s. It was still that way.
Yeah, it's adorable, and nobody learns that way. Nobody wants to spend time reading that.
Well, especially for part of something that I do as well is I adjunct for history student teachers currently, and I always try to communicate in that everyone learns differently. And particularly for boys really learn with visuals. We're very more visually driven than girls. Not to say that everyone is that way.
Generally speaking,
yes. And
they do. There's different learning methods, and you learn that as a biologist,
right?
Which is why women can learn things in a sort of spoked wheel way.
Yeah,
but men. A to B,
right? And I know for war games, since a lot of there are women that are coming into the war game hobby, and that's great. But obviously, this hobby is still dominated by men, and I'm a very visual learner. When I see a block of text there's no pictures, there's no color, there's no nothing, I almost have to decide, is this worth the effort?
But that's how I learn. Yeah, I don't know if you do the same, Nate. If I get a game, or thinking if I get a game, for instance, I've got this. Yeah, waiting for the cards any day now. They say I will watch as many videos on it, because even if they're wrong, I get an idea of what's going on, and I know that's not a particularly complex game. And then read the rules, and I can relate what I've seen to the rules.
Yep.
And then I can even go, I think he did that wrong. So, that's how I learn. Well, I watch copious amounts of videos, audio, sort of visual stuff.
Yeah. Well, that was something I was frustrated with. I mentioned before about Fatal Alliances, was the way that the rule book was laid out was, and it still is the setup for the game is at the end of the rule book. So the assumption is you have to read through about 40 to 50 pages of text, and then, oh, by the way, here's how you set up the game. And I'm thinking that's the complete opposite of how.
The problem with those sort of rule books is, time you got to page 20, you've forgotten what was on page 1.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because you can't visualize it. Yeah. If it's not, when I get a game, I want obviously clip it, organize it, but then set it up way it's supposed to be, and then start going through the rule book. And
this is a question for both. Do you use examples of play that now come in many rule books?
Yes. For me personally, I think those are a necessity. So
before you read the rules or after you read the rules?
So
people read the rules, do the play example of play, or they do the example of play, then read the rules.
So I'll give you an example. So in this, in two part of, I'll answer both your question and Jester's question about what I'm doing for D-Day, because I didn't answer that question. I'm sorry about that. Is I'm teetering on picking, going to be playing The Dark Summer, and I really do like that game. And how I learned, and this is how I learn, I think, all the games that I have, is I don't actually read the rule book when I get a game. Instead, I set it up, and then I pull open the example of play. And as the example of play introduces rules, I go and read the rule and what it does, so I can see an immediate correlation between what is supposed to happen and what has happened. And then with The Dark Summer, I go through the whole example play, and by the time I'm at the end of the example play, I know how to play the game. And so if sometimes with some games, depending on the complexity, it frustrates me a lot when there's not an example of play, especially for a very deep game.
They're heavily important to you, yes.
That, you just, how am I supposed to play this? I don't even know what sort of the first step I'm supposed to take. And I know there's a lot of people who say, just start moving counters around. And I'm thinking, I want to know how to do it. I want to know how to do it correctly on the first time, rather than wasting hours playing it wrong.
Yeah. He's Dangerous Days with you there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
No, I was
that's one of the advantages.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Jester. I'm sorry.
Rule books, and who writes them and how they're designed. If you go watch, and any of the Euro gamers, they complain about the same things us war gamers complain. Our rule books are horrible. They don't give me the information.
Really?
It's not just war games that do this. It's everybody out there. It's because the game manufacturers say to the designer, I need the game. And the designer writes the rules, creates the game, blah, blah, blah. And what we've learned is people are good at one thing, aren't good at everything. Just because I'm a really good basketball player doesn't mean I'm a good actor. Just because I'm a real good golf player doesn't mean I'm a good actor. You can't just cross over. So game designers should game design. Rule writers should write the rules for people, and we don't do that. So until that gets fixed,
because
we're going to continue to have this problem where rule books suck.
Well, because the rule writer sometimes assumes you know what they're talking about,
right?
And of course you don't. So you need somebody that's a step away from the game, and the designer goes, "Here's my rules. See if you can understand the game." And the guy goes, "No, what's this mean?" Okay, I'll write that. Okay, I've got to make a note of that. And that's how it is. The problem is, of course, it costs money and time and effort. And a lot of game companies, especially in our world, haven't got those resources to do that. That's the ideal way to do it.
One of the biggest sins that I've seen in bad rule books is acronyms. People, ZOC. When I first started playing Wargame, what's a ZOC? I don't even know what it is. Or
of course we know now.
Somebody would tell me. It would just kept referring to ZOC, and I'm like, what does this mean?
And that's going to put people off coming into the hobby.
But for me as a player, I was determined to find out because it kept bothering me, and so that's where, like, again, I've mentioned it before, but Knock Paris, like the last page of the rule book is a listing of every abbreviation I said acronym earlier. I meant abbreviation. Every abbreviation in the game, what it means.
People get those two things wrong. I know what you mean. No, I'm joking. But yes, you're right. And even Mike says, even with the best will and an unlimited budget, you're still going to get people that will hate the rules.
Oh, sure.
But it must be
some people are going to be
a step in the right direction. Sure.
Hey, teach me how to set up the game and then go into the rules. And then there's going to be other people that will be like, give me the rules and then teach me how to set it up. So I can understand how like some people like rule books one way and some people like rule books the other way. Here's the problem is the rules have got to be, it's their job to give you information. It's an information exchange. And if that information isn't coming to you one way or the other, it sucks.
I'd have walked away from
that.
Thank you, but no thank you. You're obviously not committed. Want to use up, that's just me.
But no, Jester, I think you make a point there.
Yes, he does.
And that's where like I said earlier, I think that war games are getting better at making the games more accessible. I mean, people don't mind, generally, I should say, people don't mind if a game is complex or if it's deep, as long as it's accessible. The ramp to playing the game.
If there's like a gentle climb up that steep learning curve, then people will go along with it.
Yes.
And say, I'm enjoying this, I'm learning the game, and and that's again that programmed, I think, learning experience. And Gareth's going on about index. Yes, but it depends on the index. Some indices on games are useless. The best one I've come across actually is the one in Panzer. It's an in-depth index where you can look up anything.
Sure.
But again, that's not 100% perfect, but it's the best one I've seen. It's a big index.
So a lot of games that I've played a lot, I don't need an index because I know you could put it like the geography of the rule book.
Well, if it's an 80-page rule book, you want to know where something. Think, oh, how does that work? Let's look that up. Oh, it's on that page. You can find it. So you do need, I think, especially for the more. If it's a 10-page rule book, no. But,
well, another thing I appreciate too, it was mentioned a while ago by Eve, is for Red Strike, is there's videos on how to play.
That's Dave.
I like how to play videos, or at least someone who is playing it correctly on a video, and that's.
I think as Nate said earlier, I don't even read the rule book, to be honest. 95% of the games that I play, I don't read the rule book. I watch people play it, right? And then I go, oh, okay, that makes sense, and this, that, and the other thing. And when I'm playing the game, I'll reference it, or if I'm having a question about something, I'll rules reference something. But when you play a lot of games, which I do, you realize that there's not a lot of different concepts out there. Like worker placement, right? When you have a worker unit, you put it out, you activate the space, it does something, right? It's very simple. War games the same way. Like when you have a unit and another unit walks up, you either have sticky zone of control or you don't. Either I have to stop or I don't have to stop. Which way is it? One way or the other. It's not super complex.
Yeah, I know, but that helps you. But with getting people in to the game, and you're quite right. There's only a certain amount of mechanics in games, and you become familiar with them. I certainly have, over the years I've been doing it. But it's like guitar chords, like writing songs. There's only 8 major chords, so it's how you put them together that makes the song different from another one.
But important consideration too of making sure that the rule book and the whole experience of the game is accessible is, some people like us, we buy a lot of games and we don't come back to the same game quite often. And so we'll forget what's there and how a game was played. And so, making it accessible enough to on-ramp yourself again is helpful. Oh, look at that.
Oh, thank you very much.
Wow.
I didn't know that was on my thing. I didn't think I wanted to.
Thank you, John.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that is what he says is true. I like some of the games that have like the sequence of play cards. Those are pretty cool.
Well, yeah, I'll tell you what.
Stupid Joe
Joe is the innovator on it, and even Skies Above Britain, even though it's a Jerry White game, has the Stuka Joe type, and I've printed them off. They've got that, they've got these.
Yeah.
They're great because I can use the player aids and these. More is more for me. So yeah, I'm gobsmacked. Oh, thank you.
That's
Thank you,
great.
John.
And look at that. It was one right above William Aaron's. It was his birthday just recently. So
Happy birthday, sir.
73rd. All right. Still kicking around.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it does. I tell you what, Gaynor says, as you're getting older, Ruff, you've got to keep the mind active. I said, you start reading an 80-page rule book. And
well, and that's something Charles Latour mentions about that, having a clear, proper English rule book. Sometimes some games I've had where the designer is not native English, his language isn't native English, and you can tell going through the rule book, especially if it's written in a different language and then translated to English.
Yeah,
the words and the phrases don't exactly mean the same.
Syntax isn't quite right, is it? And
and that's why I hate to say it again, but game designers should design games, and then rule writers should write the rules. Artists should do the artwork for the games. I mean, we have an artist, right, that makes the artwork for the games. It's not the designer who makes the artwork. It's usually the game company have artists. Why don't they have a rule book writer for the game? Why is that not an important part?
Well, I will tell you this. I think there's also I've done it a couple of times where I've used Chat GPT to actually help me. I will have uploaded the rule book and will say, how do I do this using the rule book?
That's frightening though, isn't it?
And
it's frightening.
It'll tell me exactly the rule. I've also done it before, is taken like a paragraph of text from a rule book that I don't understand and say, please rewrite it to make it more clear and concise. And it will, and I'll be able to understand it. So there's
there's a lot of things they could do with the rule books. I know Lock and Load has translated their rule books to a podcast. So you can download and listen to it on the way to work and on the way home. You can listen to your rule book. I mean, there's a lot of things companies can do to make the rules a little easier for people, because it's all information. It is. You have to give the players the information so they can play your game.
And videos, because if I remember rightly, Jester, you did a complete set of videos on the version 5 Lock and Load tactical rulebook that came out.
I did?
Yeah.
He's done so many videos, he doesn't remember.
I don't recall, but sure. Okay. I probably did a lot of.
You're working through the rules, because it was a new rule set.
The companies, they need to do a better job of supporting the information in the rule book. How does videos? They should have web seminars. They should have an interactive. They should have an interactive. Like there should be a website. Like GMT should have a website, and you go, and like you click on, say, I'm trying to learn. Let's say Empire of the Sun, and I click on a rule. And it reads me the rule, and then it blurbs like some information about why is this rule important, or how do you use this rule, and then you go, oh wow, that's super cool, and it's like an interactive learning experience.
They used to do that in days of yore, where you sent a stamped address envelope with your question, but they only wanted a question that it could answer yes or no to. Avalon Hill and all that sort of thing.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Anyway, look at the time.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Let's have a quick roundup, chaps. Jester, what are you doing? Anything planned for next week?
I'm gonna be doing something with the 80th anniversary in Normandy coming up. Tony and I are gonna try and maybe do another session. And if we can't, I was actually thinking about Dark Summer, actually, Nate.
It's a good game.
I don't want to take the thunder away from you on that.
No, go ahead.
But there's also D-Day Dice, which I thought would be kind of cool.
Have you got Crowbar?
I don't have Crowbar.
Because that's a great.
Yeah, that would be a good one too.
I know what, Jester. You could pull out Atlantic Wall.
Ooh, I
I
could.
don't think you'd have it clipped by the Sims.
Actually, what's the one I have? The GTS one.
Oh, the greatest day?
I have the greatest day. I could do the GTS one.
SDS game?
The $150 game I got from Wardrobe. Cheater, pumpkin eater.
Yeah, because you can do
So,
just one
besides
of the
that,
landings, couldn't you?
I did like 4 live streams with people last week. Mike Butterjelly, Tony, and Phoenix Knight. I don't have anything scheduled this week, but I'm hoping to do some more stuff. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do, but yeah, it's going to be good. A lot of stuff. New month.
Oh, yeah, I'm missing event cards. We know that one.
Missing the event cards. What?
Oh.
Yeah, no.
Me,
What are you doing, Nate? Yeah.
like I said, I finished Death in the Trenches. I finished playing a little bit of Knock Paris, and there's nothing out right now, so I'm actually trying to decide what I want to do, and don't quite know yet.
Well, I'm committed. Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm committed. I'm going to wait for the next 80 years, I think, to come around before I do it, because I'm committed to Skies Above Britain at the moment, and that's going to take at least 6 videos for the 6 patrols.
That's 6 months.
Yeah. So I'll be ready for next year, maybe the 81st anniversary. Not quite as oomphy, but better late than never.
That's right.
So, Nate, what are you up to?
Well, like I said, I'm trying to decide what I want to do. I mean, usually I do is the summertime is when I try to play the big games that I own, like the big campaign games. So I'm trying to decide what's the next big campaign game I want to play. A link to my channel. It's just called the Board Game Bunker. I don't know if I can put a link in here or not.
Let me have a quick look.
Board Game Bunker. It's got like 6 subscribers.
That's right.
He's so evil.
Actually, I think I know we have over 100 now.
Over 100?
Yeah, you're 125.
You only had 6 when you met us.
No, that wasn't true.
I think all you need to do is put this in. Go into YouTube and put that in.
But there it is. I guess right now I'm leaning towards with the next game I'm playing, might be playing, as I'm leaning towards, since I did Ben Madison's World War I game, Death in the Trenches. I was thinking about
everybody loves that one. Yes,
the World War II one, Absolute Victory. I'm thinking about that one, or I'm thinking about the War and Peace Napoleonic Grand Campaign. Since the 7th edition will be coming out this year, and it includes new scenarios and I believe a grand campaign for the French Revolution as well. So I don't know. I'm just still debating. But anyway.
Yeah, people are playing some good stuff. Goose Green, TCS.
Yeah, the other thing was the Lock and Load Heroes in Normandy. Depends on how things go this week. I might actually try to pull that out and see if I can give it a whirl.
You're familiar with that system anyway, aren't you? So you've been playing it for donkeys. So
for a little while, a little while. And I'm sure I can find a scenario from D-Day in there.
Oh, it does take a little bit to set up, but it is worth
3 hours to sort through the counters. Woo!
It didn't take me that long, I'll tell you that. But
that's off his list. That's off his list straight away. Look.
Oh no, it's worth it. It's well worth it. But it won't take you 3 hours.
Yeah.
Another one would be another Normandy game I have is this one here. Oh, this would be a good one to get up. Undaunted Normandy.
Never played any of those.
Yes. Especially if you've got the solo expansion, I think.
Yeah, the solo is part of the reinforcements. So if you get the reinforcements,
then you can play. Right? Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, I'm going to have to head out here, so we're going to have to.
Yeah, sorry about that, but we've just getting everybody's
a date tonight or what, Nate?
I've got a bonfire with some friends.
Well, they can wait.
They are already waiting. They've been waiting since 5:30.
Anyway, yes, it's gone over time. Thank you so much, everybody, for my birthday wishes, and thanks. We had over 60 people watching this this thing that we call the War Room, and we love you for it. And there's nothing you can do about it. fantastic guys. I can finish my my bourbon now without making a complete fool of myself. So thanks everyone. Thank you guys for joining me and joining in with my celebration.
Happy birthday,
of my
Rob.
Yeah, thank you all.
All of us from the chat
next
and
week-
us here, we love you, and there's nothing you can do about it.
So true. It's so true. So thank you everyone, and we'll see you when you're old.
Next week, Nate will post the topic and the Facebook group.
Oh yes.
Yep,
Because
I will.
next week is on Jester's channel. Nate's picking the topic.
And
So,
if anyone in the chat has not joined the Tack Up group on Facebook, you need to do that. You need to get on it and do that.
You do indeed. You do
We're
indeed.
over 300, boys. I saw
Yeah, we're
one of you
getting there.
guys, whoever accepted a new member. Good job.
Thanks, Ian. And we'll see you all down the road. Later, guys.